Did you see that shit? MMA podcast. Hosted by mixed martial arts journalist Mike Strauss, aka Strauss21, and Chicago's number one underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
Hey, Apollo.
Yo,
Did you see that shit?
what shit?
Shevchenko damn near killed a lady.
Yeah, I got beat up like that one time.
When?
It was by my mom, and I did something wrong because that kind of ass whooping only comes from one person, a family
angry
member,
Russian?
or an angry Russian. That was, you know what's scary is my mom.
She wasn't even angry.
She wasn't.
She was. Yeah, she wasn't even really angry.
You know what scared me is that my mom is the same size as her, weighs around the same size, and she's white and blonde haired. She looks just like Valentina Shevchenko.
Really? Man, she looked amazing. Of course, that's her debut at 125 pounds.
Who can stop her?
Well, Nico Montana is the champion, and until she gets defeated, she is the champ. So
Who's stopping Valentina? Valentina does look like the biggest girl at the playground. She's just gonna walk up and take the belt.
Well, she mauled Cachoeira, but and a lot of people are voicing their concern of referee Mario Yamasaki, who, of course,
Get him out of here.
he's no stranger to criticism. He was in the Michael Chiesa fight with Kevin Lee. He was, unfortunately, the guy that stopped that fight early. Him and Dana White have bumped heads. Dana White is, of course, all over him on this as well. So was Chiesa, too. They were going back and forth. Mario Yamasaki fired back.
Oh my God. Oh, he goes, people talk about gangster shit, but they're not about gangster shit. Let fighters fight.
Okay, now here's the thing. I'm not a fan of Mario Yamasaki. I think there was a time when he wasn't, I don't want to say elite. I think there was a time he was a very good referee. He is not any longer, and he hasn't been for a long time. Having said that, I think he kind of has a point, because do I think the fight went on too long? Probably it did. However, there's a lot of people that'll say that was stopped way too early. Not that fight in particular, but, they'll just say, let him fight. And then here's an instance where Yamasaki did give her every opportunity, and now we're bashing him because he let it go a little too long. Here's the thing, though. 5-6 years ago, that was commonplace to let fighters fight that long. But now we're in a different era, so it's not acceptable anymore. So I do think that it did go a little too long. However, I really don't think Mario is that at fault here for that. I really don't, man.
So here is my issue. Obviously, 6 years ago, and when the UFC first started, it was a way different time.
Oh, for sure.
It was, now we know about head trauma the way we know about it.
But then why fight?
Why? Well,
because it's head trauma. You're getting punched in the head. I mean, that's a stupid fucking argument.
Allowing them to fight and allowing them to get mauled is one thing.
Yeah, but when do you stop the fight? Here's the thing. More corners need to throw their towel in.
Yes.
Because, I don't think Mario did anything wrong in this fight. It's weird because I do think it went a little long, so maybe he should have stopped it a little sooner. But really, how many times have we seen? I'll give you a perfect example. Lesnar and Carwin. Lesnar got his motherfucking ass kicked in round one. If Lesnar-Carwin happened last weekend, you can make an argument that fight should have been stopped, and that go back and watch the beating he took. Mm-hmm. Okay? You make the argument he was a champion, say let it go longer, whatever, right? My point is he came back round two and beat the shit out of Carwin. So what if she would have survived round one, and round two, she would have knocked out Shevchenko? Sure.
I still would have said she should have been finished. My argument for when to stop a fight, it is, I believe, the rule is 10 unanswered strikes.
Okay.
I think it's 10 unanswered strikes.
I don't think there is a rule. There's written for...
I think there's like a common place. Like if you have certain unanswered strikes...
No, pretty sure you just made that up. There's no number. There's no number set for unanswered strikes. You just have to defend yourself intelligently. There's no number set.
I feel that there should, though.
I don't think so. That opens... When you put a number on something, that just opens up a whole can of worms. But at least they fought, because John Dodson didn't want to fucking fight Pedro Munoz.
That bugs me too.
I know that you're outspoken on fighters not taking fights because of weight issues. So let's explain for people that don't know. John Dodson was set to fight Pedro Munoz in the co-main event. Munoz missed. He was supposed to fight at 135. He weighed in at 140. Essentially, he was 4 pounds overweight because you're allowed the 1 pound difference. Why didn't Dodson take the fight? I mean, on this very same card, Des Green fought Michelle Prazeres, who weighed 5 pounds over. And, Des Green came up short. But the point is, Des Green took the fight and walked away with 40% of Prazeres' purse. Why didn't Dodson take the fight?
Greg Jackson's.
Yeah,
Greg Jackson's is
Jackson Wink.
Okay. Jackson Wink is notoriously known for pulling their fighters out of fights,
strategizing
when everything is not perfect, to where it needs to be.
Case in point, John Jones, man.
Chael
Sonnen, yeah. Come on. That's if you're the best in the world. I'm not taking anything away from Chael. We both like the guy. Listen, John Jones is John Jones. He should, you're right.
It's a different life.
Jackson Wink, they do have a reputation in the sport as kind of being that camp, right?
I love Jackson Wink. I love the fighters that come out of there. But I'm going to tell you, they have ruined way too many great cards. This card wasn't a great fight night card to begin with. I felt that
it really wasn't.
No. And John Dodson, if I'm correct, was a co-main. Yeah. Co-main, even though I believe Valentina.
Well, she ended up being.
She ended up being. I thought she should have been the main. The main headliner of that.
The reason why she wouldn't is because it was in Belem, and that's the hometown of Machida. So there's no way.
There's marketing reasons, but I think for U.S. television,
right?
If this was just a normal card, not in Belem,
for sure, yeah,
that's where I go. But no, here's my issue with John Dodson and not taking this. John Dodson is probably one of the just scariest dude because you can't make a mistake. Ever when you fight him.
He's very explosive.
He's explosive.
He's
maybe powerful.
One of the most purest athletes in the sport ever.
If I recall.
But I think his best days are behind him, though. I
don't. His last fight, he looked really well. He is fast. I think 135, he loses a bit of power, but his speed
I liked him at 125.
I liked him better at 125. But
against DJ.
I
liked him in the Ultimate Fighter house, man.
Mm-hmm. I think he's a beast. I think he faces anybody in the top 5 if they make a mistake. Cody Garbrandt leaves his chin out a little too much. He's getting knocked out.
Yeah.
There's a huge.
I want to see. I'm not sold on Dodson's power at 135 yet. I mean, there's no listen at 125.
Yeah,
no one's got it like him.
No, I get it why we're not sold yet. I want to see it more. But my issue with him not taking the fight,
right,
and I want to bring this up, is it goes back to what we talked about last week. He's being a bully. He's being the guy on the playground that goes, "Oh, I don't think I can beat you because you're a little bit bigger than me." I don't like seeing that, and I was really excited to watch him fight because I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
And he's always exciting.
That was a big blow to the card too. That's
the
kind of shit the UFC don't like.
No.
That's my Chief Keef right there. That's my Chief Keef throw.
He was about to make some good money off that card too.
Yeah, he did make a percentage for his show money, but here's Des Green, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost the same situation. Michelle Prazeres, Des Green's opponent, weighs in 5 pounds over. The day of the fight, the night of the fight, Prazeres is 30 pounds over. He's basically a smaller version of Fabricio Verdum, okay?
Oh, my God.
Des Green is a fucking warrior. Des Green says, run it. I think he took an additional 40% of his purse. Rightfully fucking so, man.
Yeah.
Shame on you for not making weight. It's unprofessional. There's just absolutely no excuse.
You signed piece of paper.
There's no excuse. Listen, if you come in a little shy, we'll get to it, Eric Anders in a second, but that's one thing. Des Green is a fucking champ. He took it anyway, and the UFC loves him for it because that's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of fighter he is. I hope to have Des on probably in the next week or two because Des Green is a guy I think is definitely a top 10, top 15 talent.
Yeah, he definitely is in that division, And
that's the UFC 155 division is the most stacked division in the entire sport. How can you argue? I alluded to it just a second ago, Eric Anders. He had a weight issue where he was 1 pound over, and they didn't allow that cushion. Mm-hmm. So Lyoto Machida, like a gentleman, gave him 1 hour to make that weight, and Anders came back and made the weight. Fight was on. Anders is not a guy that makes excuses. He's never missed weight before. He said he had an issue with the hot water in Belem. I believe him. He's not a guy to make excuses. I'm just happy that Machida gave him an hour to make that weight because he didn't have to. What does that say about Machida, though? To me, that says he's comfortable at his elder age as a fighter. He wanted this to go through. It's in his hometown, and he didn't even ask for money, and he just wanted this to happen. And I think that speaks volumes as a fighter, you know?
Yeah. When you go through weight cutting, there's a respect level given to people. And you know what? I think Lyoto Machida definitely gave him that grace because Lyoto cuts a lot of weight. And there was a lot of issues with weight cutting in this whole card.
Yeah, there was.
I don't know what happened during this card, but that's 3 people either missed weight or almost missed weight.
I think Anders was definitely onto something when he said the water. I'm sure that played a big factor with these guys cutting weight. And, who knows what else played a factor in it. But you're definitely something because, like you said, there was a lot of guys that missed weight.
I want to talk to you about something with weight cutting. There's been conversation about how ONE FC over in...
Ben Askren was talking about that.
Ben Askren was talking about how they cut weight and how it's water tested and everything like that.
Yeah, that was Rogan and Askren were talking about that.
I would really like to see the UFC implement something very similar because it would really stop a lot of these issues that we're having in the UFC because we're losing great fights like John Dodson. We've lost a Khabib fight because of things like this, and I really hope the UFC and Bellator both take a look at the weight cutting issue and
the way that ONE FC does it.
Yeah, and kind of you don't have to take completely what they do because I get that kind of messes up weight classes, but you can go hydrate and do the hydration test and everything that goes into that.
Yeah, definitely. I think if the UFC does it, I think that all the other promotions will follow suit, but they're definitely the one that needs to do it first. And if you haven't figured it out by now, you are listening to the Did You See That Shit Mixed Martial Arts podcast. I am Mike Strauss, a.k.a. Strauss21. I'm a mixed martial arts journalist for K-Decide Press and Combat Press. But more importantly, we do this little podcast here. And I'm here with Chicago's numero uno underground comedian, Apollo Taj Mahal.
You know what? I'm so mad at you right now
for
that name because here's what happened. I went and did a show and I got announced like that.
That's awesome.
And then now it's they're making a poster for a show. I got February 23rd at the Brick House Lounge. I'm featuring there. Check it out, Plano, Illinois. Be there at like 9 o'clock. I think that's on there now. And
that's cool.
And my comedian friends are now texting me in a group text of just meanness.
See?
It's just not. They're like, "Oh, you're number one underground." I was like, "I didn't do this."
Yeah, they're fucking jealous. They didn't have a friend that came up with it, so fuck them. I want to take a second to thank the amazing pro audio company Leaks Pro. They are not just an audio company. They have everything that you need, whether it is microphone stands, XLR cables, soundproofing. They have monitor speakers, the very best headphones that money can buy. They're a really great company. Check them out, lyxpro.com, Leaks Pro. I know that you like their headphones, right?
Yeah, I'm really digging them because they fit around my head and they don't move. We talked about this last time. I've been working on them.
Headphones so good they make you want to work out. Come on.
Ah,
that's a brilliant hashtag right there.
Oh, man.
That's a free one. The next one will cost money.
We'll do it because we get the headphones.
Yeah, but they really are great headphones, guys. I mean, Leaks Pro is a company that, I searched long and hard to find a very good, affordable headphone a few years ago. Stumbled across this amazing company and spent several $100s of my own money. When I mean several hundred, I mean close to 6 or 7, okay, into Leaks Pro. And just so happened that, we crossed paths and they hook us up here at the Did You See That Shit MMA podcast. So thank you, Leaks Pro. Guys, check them out. lyxpro.com. You will not be disappointed. Tell them that Mike Strauss and Apollo Taj Mahal, Chicago's #1 underground comedian, sent you.
You son bitch. I'm trying to be modest over here.
All right, so Apollo, UFC 222, man, loses Max Holloway, but it looks like Brian Ortega is going to step in to, I don't know, is it save the card against Frankie Edgar?
Yes! I'm so excited. No, he's definitely saving the card because not only is he stepping in to fight Frankie Edgar, it's not like a really bad step in. Like, I want to see this fight. Like, I want to see Brian Ortega because of his exciting finish against Swanson.
He does not do that to Edgar.
I don't think he does it to Edgar, but I think it's a good fight because Ortega is a dog.
He is great. Yeah, he's undefeated. But is Edgar that guy? I mean, Edgar was that guy that stopped Yair Rodriguez's hype train. I think he does the same thing to Ortega.
Hold up. There's levels to this game, and no offense to him, he's out there training in Izzy style. Represent Izzy, dude. Number one. Seriously, you cannot compare Yair to Brian Ortega.
His striking is way better than Ortega's. Ortega's all jiu-jitsu.
Brian Ortega's striking is very underrated. I think
nowhere near Yair Rodriguez.
No, it's nowhere near.
But Frankie Edgar, dude, it's all about him. I think he gets that done easy.
Oh yeah, I think not easy. It's not an easy fight. I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be a great fight.
I think he could have beat Holloway. I'm sad because I feel bad for Edgar now. This is the second time, right? First Edgar got hurt,
and then Holloway got hurt.
I mean, are they ever going to fight?
You know what? I'm very upset because there's a lot of fights that I want to see Edgar in that he never got to get.
That's true.
And I feel the only person who really had his number in that division for such a long time was Jose Aldo. Like, Aldo just had his number. I think Frankie Edgar would have beat Conor McGregor. I think Frankie Edgar can beat Max Holloway.
At 145?
At 145?
Because at 55, I think the only guy that really had his number was Benson Henderson for whatever reason.
He lost those fights.
Yeah,
I think he won. But the only person who's ever really had Frankie Edgar's number,
Jose,
was Jose, and I thought his way to get the title, I thought he was going to just demolish Conor McGregor.
It would have been interesting, but the UFC protects their prizes. But also on that UFC 22 card, it's actually it's a really decent card. Also on that card, Cody Stamann.
Oh yeah,
Spartan.
Taking a huge step up in competition. I'm excited.
Against Brian Caraway. We had a chance to speak with Cody. Here it is. I want to welcome Cody the Spartan Stamann to the show. He's one of the best bantamweights in the world. Not too many guys know about him, but I tell you what, they're going to know about him because he's 16-1. He has a huge fight coming up at UFC 222 against Brian Caraway. What's going on, Cody?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Great to hear from you.
I appreciate you coming on the show, man. You are just about a month away from this big fight. UFC 222. We just lost Max Holloway, but it's still a really stacked card. You have a big fight coming up against Caraway. How do you feel, man, just about a month away?
I feel great. I felt like I could have fought 2 weeks ago, honestly. I was going to fight Pedro Munoz February 3rd, so I've pretty much been in a training camp since before Christmas.
Wow.
I'm already 8 weeks in, so I feel great. My weight's great. Might do the longest training camp of my life. Get ready.
The old adage is, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right?
That's right. I mean, I'm a guy that's been always in the gym. Obviously, the pace changes as soon as you have a fight. The mentality changes. But, I'm always in decent shape. I took my UFC debut on 5 days notice.
Yeah, you're a guy that always, you could tell. You could tell the guys that cut corners. You're a guy that doesn't look like he cuts many corners. Your last fight, man, against Tom DeQuesnoy, you took a hard-earned split decision. I think they got it right. You deserved it. You opened a lot of people's eyes in that performance. Were you happy with the way that you performed?
No, if I could go back, I think I could have finished Tom. I was really hesitant. I might have fought a little bit of his hype leading into the fight. I didn't really open up until probably the second round. But, I'm happy I got the win. Learning experience, I guess I need to focus a little more on myself and worry a little less about the guy I'm fighting.
That's very honest of you, man, because I don't know if too many guys would have admitted that, but, that's a quality that I truly admire about you. That you're able to not only admit that, but, learn from that and grow from that. Personally, that's why I think you're going to take the next step. I think that you're going to be a top 15 guy, eventually sooner rather than later. One of the sites I write for, Cage Side Press, I put out a piece earlier this year about the 18 guys or girls to watch for in 2018, and you were one of them. But what are your plans for this year? Where do you want to be?
Well, March 4th, I'll be in the top 10. Beating a guy that's number 7, they had to put me in the top 10. And beating him up on Brian Caraway, everyone in the top 10 is going to know who I am.
Hey, Cody, it's me, Apollo. Definitely, man, I believe you can truly do it. And you came into the UFC red hot after, what you did outside of the UFC. And you came in and, man, you just look phenomenal. One thing I heard you talk about your last fight, you were a little bit disappointed that you didn't get to fight on the Detroit card. Do you really just want to fight the best of the best at any time you can?
Yeah, I think I just really want to fight the best guys. I don't care when, where it is. I want the elite competition. I don't want to be a guy that kind of lingers in the top 20, just kind of win-loss in the UFC. I want to be a contender. That's always been a goal of mine. I think that if I'm setting high goals for myself, it forces me to wake up every day and push myself just a little bit more. So, I didn't get in this sport to be second place. I want to be the champ.
For sure, absolutely. Let me ask you, man. Does it bother you when guys when they talk about 135ers when they don't mention you as one of the best?
No, I think it just keeps me hungry. You don't get anything in the sport you don't earn. That's one thing I love about MMA is you have to go out and win fights. All the talk, all the bullshit. It's part of the sport, but ultimately, if you don't go out there and beat elite level guys, everybody forgets who you are.
That's true.
So, as much as the talk and all that is important, you still got to win fights. And, I'm not at a point, I haven't earned that spot yet. So, I still have a lot of hard work in front of me, a lot of tough fights in front of me, so that I am mentioned in that. I can't really sit around and be bitter about it. It doesn't really do me any good. All I have to do is, be in the gym every day and just keep getting better to the point where, nobody can ignore me.
Man, I love the modesty, brother. I really do. Are you still at Michigan top team with Darren Cruikshank?
Yep.
Man, I think Darren's one of the guys that really doesn't get his due. I think, the guys that really know the sport, we appreciate him. But I don't think the average person appreciates how good Cruikshank is. Can you speak to just how he has really helped you grow as a martial artist?
Yeah, so, Darren, he's a great training partner for a lot of reasons. One is because he's probably the most athletic human I've ever met in my life. He can imitate anyone, so throughout my entire career, I've always had a lot of rounds with pretty much the guy I'm fighting. He can watch him and do exactly what he does. So, in that regard, he's irreplaceable. He can be pretty much anybody. But, he's also one of those guys that kind of taught me, what kind of hard work it takes to be at that elite level. We lived together, we trained together for a really long time, so I got to see everything that he did, and then, I got to see his path into the UFC. So, I know what it takes to make it to that level, so I'm going to, kind of follow in his footsteps.
Having a guy like Darren that can duplicate your upcoming opponent, that's a huge advantage for you as a fighter. Let me ask you, man, what do you think of the TJ and DJ thing? What do you think of him coming down to fight DJ?
I think it's great for the sport. I think there's going to be a lot of eyes in that fight. A lot of people are going to want to see that. I just hate how these guys take, half a year hiatuses. The belt gets set on a shelf for, 10 months. I realize there's a business aspect to this game, but people want to see guys fighting for that belt.
Mm-hmm.
There's no money in it exchanging hands all the time. So, people are really, really careful not to take fights if they don't have to. Like, you see TJ just decline the fight against Garbrandt.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a really, really cool main event. That would have brought a lot of eyes to the card, but, I guess I can't blame him from a personal standpoint.
Yeah, Cody, one thing, talking about people moving in weight, you fought at both featherweight and bantamweight, and I know, weight cutting is just a pain in the butt. I only did it in high school. Having to do it as a profession is ridiculous. Do you see yourself ever moving back up to featherweight, or do you plan on sticking at bantamweight for, permanent?
I think I'll have the most success in UFC at bantamweight. I have nothing against going to featherweight to fight somebody. Obviously, I don't like cutting weight. No one does. So if the UFC ever asked me to fight at 145, I would definitely say yes. But it would have to be somebody that would, further my career. Otherwise, I wouldn't take that fight.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for you unless it was, both financially and professionally worth it on your end. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, man?
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. Check me out March 3rd. I'm going to put a beating on that old man, Brian Caraway.
I know. I for one can't wait, man. Could you do us a favor? We kind of have a tradition at the show. Could you say this is Cody Stamann and you're listening to the Did You See That Shit MMA podcast?
Okay, this is Cody Stamann and you're listening to the Did You See That Shit podcast.
I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, and as you can see, man, the dude is ready for this fight. I think he's ready to take the step up, and I can't wait, man. What do you think?
He's very confident. I love confidence in a guy. And you know what?
I think he's very humble. The thing that really, like, I was taken back about, he's a top guy, and I really think he's going to have a breakout year. But he's so humble. He's very modest. And I think that is a reflection of Cruikshank.
Now, a lot of what he said, a lot of people might take as, you said he's modest. I believe he's modest. I think he's just speaking his truth and what is reality, because he is going to be one of those top guys. Guys like him, they're not talking smack. They're just telling you that they believe in their skills, and they're trying to fight the best of the best.
I'm excited. I can't wait for his fight, man. UFC 225, Chicago. First ever pay-per-view in the Windy City. I'm excited. I will be there. We don't have any fights yet announced for this event, but
no,
I'm excited that the UFC is finally going to have a pay-per-view here in Chicago.
What's the date of 225?
June 9th.
June 9th. So that's the date. Okay. All right. Let's start doing some wheeling and dealing like I did with
let's
Scott
start
Coker.
Trying to plan some fighters out there.
Let me put my Dana White hat on. let me just put this on real quick. All right. So we're doing DC and Stipe at what fight? They're doing the Ultimate Fighter. I think it's 126.
Right.
So before that fight, let's build some hype. All right. I'm gonna help everybody out here. I'm gonna help you out, Dana. You get TJ and DJ done.
That'd be
for that fight.
We're hearing rumors of that being done before, but hopefully that'd be cool.
Get that done for that fight.
I'd love to have that here.
TJ, DJ done. Then Fabricio Verdum, and you face him up over the next top guy. I say Francis.
Ooh, that's a good fight.
Okay.
But that's not a good fight for Francis and the UFC coming off of that loss.
I know.
Is that too soon for Francis? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. But he did say he's taking time.
How about Verdum and Overeem 3?
No, I don't want to say
no,
it.
That doesn't do that for you.
That does nothing for me. Because I want Verdum to be in the next spot to Verdum Kane. Verdum Kane.
He's healthy.
That'd be cool. He's already saying how he wants to fight close to that fight.
On 226, he says he wants to fight.
So
that'd be cool.
Get him a card earlier. Fabricio Verdum
not a bad
versus
idea.
Kane. That way, you're able to free up the heavyweight division, ready to go. You already know what's going to happen right after Daniel Cormier and Stipe. You get an awesome fight of TJ and DJ, and then I would throw Cody Garbrandt on that card.
Well, we'd have to see. Who knows? I don't know if Cody's going to take anybody. He's probably going to wait. I don't know.
Cruz.
That'd be a great fight.
I'm going nuts.
Love to see that.
I'm going nuts.
We're forgetting about Rivera. We could talk forever about this, but one thing we do know for sure, before the UFC gets here, Bellator is going to plant their flag.
Oh, yeah.
And they are going to do so April 28th with Frank Mir and Fedor Emelianenko in the heavyweight Grand Prix.
A fight I wanted to see back when I was 6.
I'm excited because it's like a Legends fight. I'm a big fan of both of these guys.
Yeah.
One of Bellator's diamonds in the rough, so to speak, is a former middleweight fighter now fighting at 205. His name is Jordan Young. He's a Midwest guy, and we had a chance to speak with him. And here's our conversation with Jordan Young. I want to introduce Jordan Young. He's a middleweight Bellator fighter. He is 8-0. He is undefeated. He's only 23 years old. And listen, man, he's a real problem for anybody at 185 pounds in Bellator's roster right now. Jordan, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up? How you doing? We can bump that up. I'm actually going up to 205 now.
You owe me $5.
So that was going to be one of the first things we asked you, because I know that you were kind of flirting with that idea late last year. So you are going officially to 205.
Yeah, I did a new contract. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna go up 205 pounds to this next fight, and it'll be my first one there. So I'm excited to get through that camp and see how I feel in that fight, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, that's the new division. I'm excited about it.
I'm stoked, man. Now, I saw you on social media about your next fight. Can you say who you're fighting?
No, I don't have a name yet. I just, I'm talking to my management, and, I'm going to be fighting in late March or mid-April. I'm confident in that.
Okay. For the listeners, they may get sick of me here. I'm beating a dead horse, but, Jordan, we're in Chicago, and Bellator has a huge Chicago card at the end of April. Would that interest you?
Yeah, that's in the Midwest. I'm from Iowa. I live in South Florida. I grew up in Iowa, so I think that would make it easy for fans in the Midwest to see me, so that would make sense. There's also a card that's been in St. Louis, and my boy Justin Lawrence.
Yes, Justin Lawrence.
That's my boy, and I would love to be on a card with him. So that interests me as well.
I'm intrigued by the move to 205. You know, what was ultimately the final thing that kind of pushed you over the edge to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm all in, I'm going 205?
Yeah, you know, I had a nice time at 185 pounds, and I think that if I was still there, I would contend for a championship belt this year, I think. But I'm only 23. You know, I just turned 23 at the end of last year, and making that 185 pounds is more than just being dedicated. That's hard for my size, you know.
You're 6'4", right?
It was sucking the fun out of it. Yeah, 6'4" and growing every day.
Well, we were actually talking about this earlier, and I had read that you were possibly going to 205, and you know you've done some catch weight fights at 195. Now, can you tell us how really difficult that weight cut down to 185 was like for you?
Yeah, so it started out 185 pounds was tough, and then I started getting some catch weights. 195 pounds was nice. I made that on short notice. Actually, the first time I fought that at that weight, I made it on 2 weeks' notice, and then I actually had a camp for the next time I fought at it, and that was a tough cut. And you know, luckily I was able to get a hold of the guy before, and we just bumped it up to 200. And then I kind of was just like, why not just go with the flow and go to 205 pounds and build myself up instead of breaking myself down. It was terrible, like trying to be stressed every day, managing weight and whatnot.
You know, I really noticed at 195 you looked really, really solid versus when you were cutting weight. You got that nice submission win when you took that short notice fight. Do you think that weight cut really messed with your performances?
I wouldn't say mess with it because I fought at 185 pounds and had really good performances. And I also, earlier in my career, fought at 170 pounds. And I was low body fat at both of those weights, obviously. And I had good performances. I just think that during the camp, more so, I would be affected. Once you make the weight and you rehydrate, you feel really good. But getting down to it, the whole camp, it's like, are you trying to focus on it's easier when you're in the lower ranks and you're fighting guys who aren't as skilled, and you can focus on the cut during camp. But as you're fighting more skilled guys, you got to focus on them. You can't be worried about a weight cut for 7-8 weeks.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, I think you made the right decision, brother. I really do. I mean, look at like what with Rafael Dos Anjos. Look what he's been able to do. You know, he left 155, moves to 170, and he's a fucking world beater now. You know, I think that going to 205 for you, Jordan, I think now that you don't have to deal with that bullshit on a daily basis, like you said, I think you're really going to be able to take that next step, man.
Yeah, I feel good. I'm excited about it, and it's a whole new set of opponents. You know, being fixated on 185 pounds and thinking about these different fights. And then you go up 205 pounds, and not only are the body characteristics different of these guys, like they explode different, the energy level is different. So it's a whole new set of things for me to work on in camp, and I'm excited about that.
Obviously, you did say that you were training out of South Florida, if I heard you correctly. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, I train at American Top Team. I've been here it's getting close to 2 years pretty soon. But I've been here. I love it here. And I feel like I have deep roots now. Like I'm invested with the coaches and training partners, and we've been putting in work for a little bit now, and we have some momentum with 3 fights in a row last year. So I'm excited for what we can do this year.
And could you kind of, tell us on how you're going to be taking that next step up in weight? Who will you be training with to kind of help you prepare for that heavier frames that you're going to have to face?
There's a ton of guys down there at AT&T, man.
Yeah, there's some different guys. I have some different ideas, too. I met Glover Teixeira when I fought twice in Connecticut for Bellator last year. And I've never trained with him, but he trains – I know he's at like an American Top Team affiliate he has in Connecticut. I'd like to get out there and train with him for a week or two. He's a great light heavyweight. I think that would be good training for me to test where I'm at here in about a month or so, because I'm still growing into this 205-pound frame.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm excited for you, man, because I think that you are, you're in a good place professionally, personally. I'm really intrigued to see who Bellator is going to throw at you next. Apollo and I were talking a little bit before we got a hold of you here today. I was just telling Apollo how I'm impressed with your jiu-jitsu, and your jiu-jitsu is really like, it's next level the way that you're handling guys. Your frame really is advantageous to your game there, and your striking is actually coming along too. Do you feel that your jiu-jitsu is a little bit ahead of your striking, or do you feel like your striking is kind of caught up now?
No, I mean, I grew up in the gi, so, like, I definitely feel that jiu-jitsu was stronger when I was younger. I think that I also focused heavy on striking because every fight stands on the feet, and then if we're talking about any altercation outside of cage fighting, it's going to be stand-up most times. You're not going to be grappling on cement. So I've always put a heavy emphasis on my striking, and I think now that I've went up a weight class, my power will be more evident. But as far as skill-wise, I think when it comes, it's a nice blend I have. I have very good striking, and with the range and distance that I keep, people tend to want to get in close to me, and then that blends right into my jiu-jitsu. So they work well together, but if you separate them, I think that they're at equal levels.
I definitely really like how you strike, because you look really comfortable on your feet when you're striking with people, and you kind of have that very awkward style where you use your range very well. You come in. Could you tell us, who you're working with your striking, and what heavy emphasis are you on? Are you boxing or kickboxing?
Yeah, for sure. So it's always changing, like, as far as who you're working with. I've worked with different coaches in the past, but right now I have a very good blend with Dia Davis doing my boxing training, and then I have Coach Roger Crow doing my kicks. It's very, like, it's not Thai and it's not Dutch kickboxing. It's like, we're doing a lot of oblique kicks and calf kicks, unorthodox kicks that are working very well for my style. And then also Dr. Polygloves. He writes some articles actually with, like, I think Bleacher Report or maybe Bloody Elbow or something. But he is a boxing coach. He worked with Brad Pickett. But with me, we get a lot of good distance work in. It's boxing, but it's a little different. He incorporates some good things, and we're getting good work in like once a week.
Awesome. Sounds like you definitely have a vast amount of very good coaches to choose from down there, as well as training partners. Jordan, how do you spend your free time, man? Are you a video gamer?
Yeah, I get on the video games. I've been hitting up. Somebody just introduced me to Fortnite. I'm loving that. I'm playing that. I'm like a level 25. I got there quick in like 3 weeks. My girlfriend was getting frustrated with that, but that new UFC game just came out. I'm looking to get on that in the next couple of days. I always love playing those.
Oh, man, definitely. If you want to play that, and if you got a PS4, man, you can get them hands from me.
Yeah, for sure. I'm on Xbox One. Anybody that's listening, add me. It's JAY1, and then it's 80, but it's spelled out EIGHTY, and then 5.
Oh, man, you're going to definitely have to make me get my brother over with the Xbox One so I can play you in that.
Be interesting.
I don't think you want it, bro.
Oh, interesting to play a real fighter, man, because you probably are you able to translate like your real knowledge of the fight game to the game at all?
I mean, I come with different strategies. Like, I like applying pressure on that game, and then when people feel pressed, they want to fire back. So when they go to fire back, I'll back up and let that stamina regain while they waste theirs, and then get right back on them. I drain people and finish them quick in that game.
That's awesome.
I don't think it's fair that a dude that could beat me up in real life could beat me up in a video game too. Like,
well, Jordan, man, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my Gen American Top Team, all my coaches, Coach Mike Brown, Coach Dean Thomas, Coach Roger Crow, Coach Dia Davis, Coach Dr. Polygloves. I'd also like to shout out all Bellator, all my fans, my girlfriend, Lupita, and we just got a Great Dane, Harvey Dent. If you follow me on Instagram, you can follow him too. Support him. He's only 5 months old, but he's already like 70-some pounds. Huge.
Wow.
Dang.
Very cool. Well, man, I appreciate it. Could you do us a favor? We have a little tradition we do here with our guests. Could you say this is Jordan Young, and you're listening to the Did You See That Shit MMA podcast?
All right, for sure. This is Jordan Young, and you're listening to Did You See That Shit podcast.
I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, later. I appreciate it.
All right, Jordan Young, man, he is the deal. I'm excited. I hope he gets on that Chicago card.
I told you. I said, hey, I think he's moving up to 205.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think his frame is good at 185. He's made it before. I go, cutting weight sucks. You go, but I think he definitely can make it. What did I tell you? Listen, peep this. Listen to Uncle Apollo, everybody. When I tell you about something, I go, that guy hates cutting weight, and it's going to not make him the best of the best. And he's going to go up in weight. You should listen to me. I'm right.
And what Apollo's talking about, we were talking before the interview, we were kind of going back and forth about what we wanted to talk to Jordan about. And we were, we weren't sure if Jordan had officially moved up in weight. I know he was talking about it. You said he should just do it. And I said I think he was going to actually fight at 185 and go up later. But, yeah, you were right, man. But listen, whatever weight Jordan fights at, I think he is a very talented fighter. He's training at ATT. He is someone to keep an eye on because he is a very intriguing and the dude is young
and he's really smart
and he's very smart and he plays video games.
Yeah,
and so do we sometimes.
He's gonna get them hands, man.
Well, that remains to be seen. And I always thought it'd be very interesting to actually play a fighter in a fighting game, like playing a football player in a Madden.
Yeah, and he told us how he's wait. I don't think that's fair. I honestly, especially him, because he's really smart about the game, and he knows what's going on. That's not. He's like, I like to pressure my opponents. Well, I'm like, man, I button mash.
It's like, the Super Bowl just happened, right? And it's like Justin Timberlake did the halftime show.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking, he can sing, he can dance, he's not a bad looking dude. Some dudes just can do everything. It's not fair, And Jordan Young, he could fight. He could beat your ass in a fighting game. Who knows? Probably sleep with your girl. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe he can't. Maybe he can't.
He can do. Jordan Young, to me now, it can do anything. I believe in him. And when I grow up, I want facial hair like him.
He's got a beard.
Yo, he has, and you know what? I respect his game because he gets that lined up and then he gets the fade. He looks crispy before every fight.
He's a legit fighter for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Definitely check him out. And again, thanks Jordan for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Dope dude, man.
So UFC 3, man, we mentioned that. To me, the biggest glaring thing that I noticed right away, no women's featherweight division is included in the game. What does that tell you?
Chris Cyborg's been talking too much stuff.
It tells me I don't think the UFC plans on keeping that featherweight division around, man.
You sitting there talking smack like, I might have to go to Bellator to fight some real competition.
But obviously this game was in production long before that.
Yeah, but you don't think Dana White walked into the production team and was like, hey, come here, guys. Just snag that right out of there real quick.
I absolutely don't think that.
Oh, Dana's petty. You can't.
I know that. I just don't think he would. I don't think he did that. He's petty.
There's something going on. You know what my problem is? I think Dana would do something like that. I truly do.
I think he would too. Yeah. I just don't think he did.
Yeah. Well,
let me clarify.
But for the fact that there is no 145-pound division
in the game,
is messed up.
So there's a bunch of different fighters that probably could have and should have been included in the game, and the UFC will more than likely include them in updates as the game goes on and things need to be adjusted. Mike Perry, he's a guy that he's not in there. That's a big glaring omission from the game.
Mike Perry looks like he was born with face tattoos. Like they belong on his face.
He's legit as fuck, no doubt. He's legit. And definitely, man, he wears those face tattoos better than anybody.
No, it looks like they are supposed to be there.
No one's going to tell him otherwise.
I'm not.
Jared Gordon. He's a guy that I didn't think would be in the game, but he's a guy that, he's going to make a name for himself this year, and I think it all starts with his next opponent. He's a guy that, his story's been documented. He was on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. I don't want to, beat a dead horse with his story, but
very inspirational.
Very inspirational dude, man. And here's our interview with Jared Gordon. Right now I want to introduce Jared Gordon. He is one of the killers, man, in the UFC's lightweight division right now. He has a record of 14-1, and he has a big fight coming up at UFC Fight Night 126, February 18th, against Carlos Diego Ferreira. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. Just came out of a hard training session, and I'm headed home, gonna relax. Is that it?
Some well-deserved relaxation. I want to thank you, man. I know that you're busy, so I won't take too much of your time up here. First off, Jared, the last time we spoke, man, I feel like you've kind of blown up a little bit. Some newfound fame, man. I'm glad that you're finally getting the notoriety as a fighter that you deserve. How have things changed for you?
I mean, not much as far as like my lifestyle, but definitely I feel like I'm getting more exposure and more recognition. But that's about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you definitely deserve that recognition, but one of the things that really got your name out there is Dana White looking for a fight. I always kind of wondered how those go down. Can you kind of tell us how you got on there?
I mean, as far as being on the show, it was cool, man. I enjoyed it, and they kind of downplayed me a little bit. They were like, Jared has no personality, but he can fight, and so they signed me. But I mean, I guess they wanted me to like get on my knees and cry and like be happy that I got to UFC. But I knew that I was going to get in. It was just a matter. It wasn't if. It was just when. And it's not like they were handing me $1 million in cash and they were like, "Oh, you're in the UFC and you're gonna fight for the title or something like that." I got signed with a regular contract to the UFC, and that doesn't mean shit. It's not like I gotta win when I get there.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have got signed and lost 2, and I would have been back on the regional circuit or something. Maybe when I get a title shot or when I win a title, I'll be happy. I'm not going to fucking cry like a little baby. Oh, I got to UFC. I don't give a shit about that. I need to win when I get there because how many people get to UFC and then look like shit?
No, you're right, man. But you're not one of those guys, man, because, so far you've looked phenomenal in your UFC outings. You looked really good. I wanted to ask you about your next fight here coming up, Fight Night Austin, people are calling it. It's a really sneaky good card, man, from top to bottom. There's a lot of good fighters. You currently are slated in the preliminary portion of that. Now, I've talked to you before, and you don't mind being on the prelims, right? You feel it kind of gives you more exposure?
I mean, I'm the main or the featured guy on the prelim card on Fox. It's at a big time, like 8. I'll probably be on at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So, it's a Sunday night. I think a lot of people will get to see me, and I think I'll have good exposure. I'm not on the main card, but it is just my 3rd UFC fight. So as long as I'm not on that fucking fight pass.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I'm not like the first card on the prelim. I'm the last fight before the main card. So I think I'm in a pretty good area of the card to fight on, so people get to see who I am, and I'll kick off the main card with a great finish on the prelim.
Like I said, man, it's a really good card, and they need to keep a main card level fight for the main event of the prelims, and that's your fight. They need to keep you there to keep viewers on, man. So that's what that's about. I wanted to ask you though, Jared, I heard you recently on a different interview, and you kind of gave your opinion on what Conor McGregor and what the UFC should do with the lightweight division. I was hoping you could kind of just sum your feelings up for us here.
Yeah, no problem. I think that Tony and Khabib that's the true title fight right now. Conor's just doing what he wants to do, and I can't blame him though. He won $100 million. He's like, doing what he wants to do. He's got a baby or whatever. He's looking for huge money fights. He doesn't want. I think Tony and Khabib are obviously horrible matchups for him. He definitely doesn't want to fight those guys. What I think is that he's going to come back, he's going to get stripped of his title or whatever, and he's going to come back and fight George or something like that. Or like he's going to fight Nate Diaz for some super fight, and he's going to make a shit ton of money, and he's in it for the money, and I can't blame him. I mean, I don't think he cares about belts right now. He already won 2 of them, so I mean, he doesn't want to fight Khabib, and Tony will probably get trashed, and he wants to fight a guy that's going to make him a shit ton of money, and someone maybe that he could beat.
He summed that up perfectly, man. I'm not a big fan of Conor, but I would like to see George or Diaz and him again. So
I don't want to see George.
I would love to see it. Jared, let me ask you, man, kind of off the wall, but what kind of music do you listen to when you're training or when you're sparring? What gets you going, man?
So, I'm a huge rap music fan. I don't really listen to anything like that. My favorite rock band is Tool.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Perfect Circle.
Nice.
Is up there. I like that whole 90s era, though. But as far as rap, I'm from Queens, New York, so I'm a New York fan, like 90s music, 90s rap, and early 2000s, like 50 Cent, G-Unit. But big Bomb Beat fan, big Nas, Jay-Z, the whole New York.
Speaking my language right there.
All right, so as you can see, man, good dude, and I like his plan with the McGregor thing, and I'm excited for the Khabib-Ferguson fight as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm very excited. You know what I also am excited about? I believe that I'll be playing with Jared Gordon on that game by the end of the year with an update.
Really?
I think he'll make that big of a name for himself, and I'll be playing as his character.
That could be.
Same with Curtis Blades.
Yeah, that's another guy that should be on there. He's got a big fight coming up this weekend. We'll get to that probably in the next episode here.
And they made Mark Hunt skinny.
A little skinny. I don't think he's skinny. Before we wrap this episode, though, man, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. The Shevchenko murder of Kochera. I just wanted to touch on it again, kind of reaffirm my position. It's a weird one because I do think at the core of it, Yamasaki let it go a little too long. However, I think people are making it too much of a big deal out of it. The corner could have thrown in the towel. Here's the thing. Yamasaki is damned if he does, if he stops the fight too early, which he's known for.
Yep.
I'm not, giving him a pass. He's dropped the ball many times.
Kevin Lee and Chiesa. That was horrible.
The thing is, he was determined to let this one go no matter what, and now he's getting shit for it. So he's in a bad spot. That's all I'm saying. And
you know what? I've been thinking about it this entire episode, and I'm in two states of mind. As a competitor,
stoned and unstoned.
Yes, stoned and unstoned. No, but damn. But as a competitor, I don't want him to stop the fight. I want her to fight, as a competitor. But as someone who is watching her, I want him to stop the fight. So I do think that we need to put a lot. I think the UFC needs to empower the corner to stop fights a lot more. The UFC needs to take that because boxing did it.
In order for them to do that, though, I think what they have to take out of it is the whole win bonus, show bonus bullshit, because there's no way, I don't think a corner wants to be on the line for that potential win bonus. And listen, the potential win bonus.
Yeah.
No one was watching that fight thinking that she was probably going to win. She could have, sure, comebacks have happened, right? I'm not saying no. There's always that chance, I guess, right? And you don't want to be that person that took away that 15, 20, 100, whatever it is, So I kind of think if they get rid of that and they do like Bellator does and they just give all the money up front like it should be, I think then that kind of helps that move along.
Yeah, I get their line of thinking. It creates more exciting fights if there's more money on the line and things like that.
I don't know.
You know what? To protect fighters, you need to allow their corners to throw in the towel, and you need them to not have to worry about that paycheck if they're on the verge of death. And we've seen it, and they're wearing 4-ounce gloves. It's scary. So, I'm still all over Mario. I think he should have stopped the fight, but I understand, we talked earlier in the show, and you made very good points where I understand it now.
Apollo, all bullshit aside, though, there's a very good use for a towel that I found.
I'm going to show you. So you got to lift your leg up.